Hello again. Something which I'm sure that viewers in Britain have noticed is that democracy has become something of an optical illusion over the last few years or so. Essentially, we choose between a Labour Prime Minister and one who belongs to the Conservative Party. But both of these people espouse essentially the same policies when it comes to such things as immigration, climate change, and Europe. What is disturbing, though, is that those policies, although agreed between Labour and the Tories, are not what most people in this country actually want. We saw this very clearly with the referendum on Britain's membership of the European Community in 2016. Both the Conservative Party and Labour were red hot in favour of remaining in Europe, but when the people were asked, they rejected continued membership. Leave aside for the moment whether this was a sensible or a foolish decision. The fact is that when they were asked, the electorate rejected what both main political parties agreed was the best option. This should have caused everybody to stop for a moment and take stock, but of course it did nothing of the kind, and both parties simply set about doing their best to frustrate the expressed will of the people. We find ourselves today in much the same situation regarding things such as the net zero programme and also, of course, mass immigration. Ordinary people, by which I mean the vast majority of the population, do not wish to replace their gas boilers with heat pumps, nor do they wish to give up their petrol-driven cars and exchange them for electric ones. If a referendum were to be held tomorrow, then net zero would be out of the window at once. However, Labour and the Conservatives are both dead keen on climate change and net zero, so whatever you vote at the next election, this programme will be steaming ahead, full speed. Most people in Britain wish to see an end to unrestricted immigration, but neither of the two main parties wish to end mass immigration. So whoever you vote for at the next election, immigration is absolutely guaranteed to rise. This means that there is a serious problem with democracy in Britain. Realistically, the next election will result in an administration run by either Labour or the Conservatives. This will be the case no matter which fringe parties people vote for. Either Keir Starmer or Rishi Sunak will be Prime Minister after the next election in a couple of years' time. Both men will then spend 5 years pursuing policies which the majority of people in this country do not want. This is what I mean when I say that there's a problem with democracy. We really have no choice. We cannot alter the course upon which the country is set, and so we might as well not bother even to vote. This is a terrible situation to be in, and it could easily lead to people becoming disillusioned generally with the very principle of democracy. If we cannot change things through the ballot box, then what can we do? I wouldn't like to see a large mass of people resorting to direct action, but on the other hand, I really would like to see a leader emerge who would follow the will of the people. How this might be achieved, I'm not sure, but I think that a spell under somebody who would actually do what most people want could not fail to be a good thing. Here are two questions to consider. If referenda were to be held tomorrow on both immigration and net zero, what do viewers think the people of Britain would vote? Do they think that most people would say that they wish to abandon their gas cookers and cars? Or do they think that most of us would prefer to start mining for coal for our power stations again and drilling for oil and gas in the North Sea? What about immigration? Do you honestly think that anybody would vote to increase the population by 500,000 a year, which was the net increase through immigration up to June 2022? If people would not vote for such a policy, then why are the leaders of both the main political parties so determined to press ahead with such a scheme?